welcome to our network balance. It's been a while, and thanks for waiting and hanging out. It wasn't because we didn't need it, I'll be honest, we did. I had the urge a few times. I literally just did not have the time given my big move. As you can see, I'm here in my new house. Thank you for all of your wishes, and everyone got in contact. I'll reveal the location in emails to you if you're keen, but I do hope you'll come up here at some point when lockdown is over and we're in our new world, and we can do some beautiful getting into nature activities. It's a little rainy today, but it's still nice. So thanks for all the questions and concerns. It's getting pretty full on. It's just more full on all the time. But it never ceases to amaze me how positive the goals are that keep testing. So even when I just think, oh my God, this is going to be horrific, the goal that tested, for example, today is I live an inspired life. So it's just really interesting for me to see the disconnect sometimes that we probably feel from our higher self to the ego, where we can be fairly despairing even, but the higher self's like, I live an inspired life. And that kind of, initially I was like, oh God, really? It's pretty, I can't even get my head off the pillow at the moment. How can I live an inspired life? But then that's the point, isn't it? That your higher self, that your heart is kind of keeps guiding you to lift your vibration, and to know that that's possible. So I love it. So we dealt with issues of fatigue, disconnection, knowing when we should act and when we shouldn't, apologizing too much, being frustrated at this COVID normal bullshit, and thoughts and behaviors about being trapped. So yeah, the goal was I live an inspired life, and the emotions were interesting. So it was about how we deal with others being inflexible. And as soon as this tested, that made so much sense to me. It actually really summarised the fact that we look around, and in particular in Victoria, our government is seemingly very inflexible. So there's not a lot of movement on all of the rules and what we can and can't do, and like allowing us to even move out of the rules that we've had imposed upon us. So really, I think this balance is how do we cope with that inflexibility. So and there's going to be a few references to the old narcissist dynamic here. And that is, when we're dealing with people who are very rigid, very inflexible, control freaks, like not willing to compromise or cooperate, how do we personally respond to that and to that dynamic? And I feel that this is what we are being asked to deal with. So, and that leads into also the emotion of how do we be assertive to others. Also where we've been over trusting. So there's a bit of a wake up call in this session, in this balance, about actually enough is enough in how trusting or I don't know whether tolerance is the right word, but anyway, it'll make sense as we get into it. And also how we deal with scorn, others to self. So actually on a level we are feeling scorned. Now, if, I had to revisit the dictionary for that, and scorn is like contempt or disdain. And I think what we are being asked in this balance to wake up to is that we are being actually shown a lot of disrespect and a lot of contempt by the people who are supposed to be involved in supporting us, interestingly. So the first correction was about the mind-body dynamic. Most of you that work with me know how this works. The mind or the adult and the body in the child, and they can be over and under energy and in a conflict with each other. So this was about the mind being under energy. So really kind of checked out, not taking responsibility. The way that we're doing this is we're not deciding. So there's an indecision that's happening in our mental energy. So we're not, we're kind of neglecting the self-responsibility by not making decisions. And not having the courage. So courage was the word here. Courage is the unmet need. We're not claiming our freedom, and we're not using our courage in making decisions to do that. So to me, the energy here, and this is, following on from everything else that's come through previously, is that we're waiting for freedom to be delivered. So when the rules change, when Chairman Dan decides to, when Daddy ScoMo, blah, 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 that freedom is somehow going to arrive to us on a platter. And I think we need to realise freedom is fought. And, I'm often not into fighting, but sometimes in that kind of warrior way, when forces are so oppressive, we do need to fight. We do need to dig in to connect with our freedom and defend ourselves and claim our sovereignty. So that was definitely about this. Like, the mind needs to snap out of waiting. Freedom is not going to passively arrive. We have to proactively claim it by being decisive, by tuning in. You don't have to fight everybody and play their game, but you do need to tune into yourself and realize, where are you putting off decisions, where are you not honoring yourself, and to be respectful of yourself, actually. So then we had, when the mind is not deciding and it's being a bit wishy-washy or hesitant or whatever, the body or the child is actually in an over energy state, in an over emotional state, and it's panicky. So no one's in charge here. I'm panicking. What the hell's going to happen? And the child or the body is really wanting to feel capable and like we've got this shit under control. But if we're not making decisions, that's really not happening. So the key here is, the longer that we neglect taking responsibility for the choice or acting, the more more doubting of our capability we become, right? So it's like when you haven't practiced something for a long time, and the more you put it off and the more you put it off, the more nervous you get about actually doing it, the more fearful you get that you can't do it anymore. And so the child's confidence is slipping the more that we don't make a decision. And this is playing out. I was talking with a girlfriend yesterday who does a lot of corporate seminar work for people that are, returning to work, and she is just booked out because all of these corporations are running seminars to help people who are freaking out about going back to work. And similarly, my teacher clients talking about kids melting down about going back to school. And what came to mind is that I can't remember the story, but you'll know what I mean. It's that where people have been locked up for such a long time that even when their oppressors open the door and set them free, they don't go out, they don't leave, because they've become so conditioned to feel safe and secure in their imprisonment. And I feel like that, in a way, is what's almost happening for us. Like, we've been conditioned, locked in, and then we're almost fearful to come out in the world again. So this is the thing. The more that we don't make decisions and don't consciously choose to act, our inner children are like starting to freak out and panic, and will we do this? Can we do this? So it's really about getting that courage to decide for yourself. I checked in as well, what's our block then to taking that courage? And it was this sabotage of unhealthy boundaries, which is trying to create intimacy with a narcissist. So this is basically, and I'm sure everyone can relate, we've all had these dynamics, these relationships in our lives, which is where we're seeking to cooperate, we're seeking to love, we're seeking to give, but we're doing it with somebody who is actually not interested, who is not capable or not seeking that mutual love and respect. So this was the question: are we in this relationship, this abusive relationship with the government, the powers that be, etc., where we're waiting for them to give us our freedom. We're waiting for them to show us that they care, to, do what's best for us and our welfare. But is it possible now? Do you think that we've reached a stage where we can confidently say, perhaps they're actually really not interested in our welfare? Perhaps they don't give a shit about our personal freedom, and they're not interested in preserving our personal freedom. And I think that's really clear. So we've been waiting, perhaps we've been investing, we've been having faith, we've been trusting, but this partner, the narcissist, does not have any interest whatsoever in cooperating, in considering, in mutual respect, or in achieving a common goal. And they certainly don't want to respect our personal freedoms. So we need courage to break that abusive cycle. We need to be able to stop waiting, stop complying, stop seeking to cooperate with somebody who isn't interested. And that's, in a nutshell, the pattern that we're breaking. So temporal tapping here, you can follow those instructions and do that. But I encourage you to think a lot about past relationships that this dynamic's played out in, and what's kept you stuck in the abusive cycle, and not walking away or saying enough's enough. Because they're the blocks that you need to face and have the courage to kind of face down, so we can get free ourselves. In support, our throat chakra next. Throat chakra imbalance, as you all are probably aware, or maybe if you're not, throat chakra is related very much to our will, to our personal will, and to our personal expression. This is out of whack, not surprisingly, and our old friend Parsley is here to help us with that. And the emotions that tested, or the emotions associated with the Parsley, is circumspect and restless. So circumspect is a bit, tentative, unwilling to take a risk. Restless is clearly unfocused, all over the shop kind of thing. Parsley's affirmation: I clearly envision my direction. Nice. Straightforward, focused, clearly envisioning it, taking responsibility. So ideally add some parsley to your water, but you can also eat it, you can look at it, and you can use that affirmation. So however you want to work with parsley. Thirdly, we had acupressure, which is a particular type of acupressure coming from a modality called Jin Shin Jitsu, which I studied. And they use particular points which they call safety energy locks. So I studied this acupressure because it was quite effective for trauma, and looking at the body having energy locks, which are like circuit breakers in the body. So these energy points are specific sites where we've kind of blocked or stopped energy flow as a result of a shock or a trauma in the body. And each energy lock, there's 26, has a particular theme, and I find them quite interesting. So the one that tested for us was safety energy lock number 5, and that theme is all about regeneration. So it's all about letting go of the old, embracing the new, being able to move through fear and uncertainty, and overcome our it says overcome antagonisms. So there's a lot of antagonisms in our lives at the moment, I'm sure. So letting go of old thoughts and habits. I love this affirmation: free of fear, I let go of the old. With love in my heart, I grow. Beautiful. So it's really simple. You just hold the points. Hold the points for 3 to 5 minutes, or ideally until you feel a pulse building up. You start to feel a pulse in the points, and you'll start to also feel the pulse. Look to harmonize the pulses. So because you're holding both sides, look for feeling the same on both sides, because this type of acupressure works a lot with the polarities, so the balancing of the energy flows in the body. So do that 2 to 3 times, or of course whenever needed. And the point, there's a little diagram. I couldn't find a photo of Jamie's feet, so sorry, and it would have kind of defeated the purpose, because unless I did the whole body, like his torso and down to his feet. Anyway, now I'm thinking about Jamie, so I better hurry up. So yes, it's just it's the kidney, liver, and organ. kidney, liver, and spleen meridians, and it's just below the ankle bone. Anyway, you can see it on that picture. So hold those points and clear your fear. And then we had a flower message from Pansy or Violet, and I'll read it. This was a passage from the book. These flowers have a clear magical mission, which is to multiply the amount of divine beauty in the world. They do this through example by attuning our thoughts and ideas to the frequency of beauty, which is beautiful. So when I first saw this, and obviously a flower message, I'm like, oh yeah, we need to look at a pansy, we need to smell pansies, da 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 da. But when the muscle testing really took me to that passage, what came through immediately for me was not only obviously tuning into the energy of pansy, but we've got something to learn from that passage, in the sense that we have a personal frequency and we have a magical mission. And maybe our magical mission is to multiply out this type of frequency that we have out in the world. And of course, that is really what it's all about, as particularly right now. So many of us are like, what do I need to do? How do I do this? How do I overcome this? How do I get through? Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, actually, you just need to live your frequency, right? What is your unique personal frequency, your essence, as I call it, which has a frequency? And how can I keep that? How can I maintain it and not lose it and not have it feel infiltrated and bombarded and buried under shitloads of shit? So it's about, what's your frequency? What are you doing to maintain it, to keep it nice and bright and shiny? And are you appreciating it? Do you understand that when you go out into the world and you have a conversation with whoever it is and you're maintaining that personal frequency, that is just so beautiful and so helpful, right, to all around. So I felt like Pansy was reminding us, like, if you think about a pansy, it's just being a pansy. It's beautiful, and it evokes in us this frequency of connection with divine beauty, which is what it's saying. Same for you. So you have this frequency and you evoke in others and in the environment around you that frequency, and that's all you need to do. So you might want to reflect on that and how you are making it a priority to maintain your own frequency, and maybe what it's about for you. And then I guess also there's another way we could look at that in terms of, what are you attuning to? If you're like me and you've been down lots of rabbit holes, I'm constantly then thinking, oh my God, what am I attuning my energy to? And that obviously has an effect. So, choose wisely what you attune to. Obviously attune to yourself, but then other things that you're connecting with will either enhance or, maybe impact that frequency. So that's the message from Pansy. Then we had support, and I'm going to give you a little tool that I've got, a little chart, worksheet, whatever you call it, called the effort list. And that's a series, there's I think 6 or 7 efforts, which are basically fix it, forget it, fuck it, and it's like a little chart that you can use to prioritize. So when you are stuck in procrastination or perfectionism, or you're all over the shop and you don't know where to start, I use this as a testing chart. So I highly recommend, if you can self-test and you've learnt to self-test, do it, or otherwise use your intuition or use it just as a criteria checklist. But, perhaps there's people in your life, projects in your life, situations, whatever it is, use this criteria to get clear. What do you need to do with it? Do you actually need to worry about it or not? So you'll see, that'll be self-explanatory in the F's in the worksheet. So that tested, and then a supplement of chlorophyll. So liquid chlorophyll is a beautiful green liquid. I was going to actually have one to show and tell, but I forgot. So anyway, you can get that and drink one of those daily. You can have it with hot water if you want it to make into a tea. A little bit of a warning: don't be alarmed if your poo turns very green. Sorry for that graphic information, but it's true, and I wish someone had warned me originally about that. That's it. So enjoy that balance, helping you to live an inspired life. So don't let it all get you down. We are building the new, we're creating the new. This balance is helping us to realize where we're stuck, where we're getting stuck, where we're not deciding, where we're not letting go, where we're stuck in the narcissist relationship. And don't worry about the narcs. They'll be taken care of. They'll meet their karma, whatever it is. Get on with being you. Get on with being the beautiful frequency that you are. And enjoy. And let me know any feedback, questions, send it through. And hopefully it won't be so long before the next balance. I'll see you soon. Take care, everyone. Mwah.